Mr. Wrestling too.
Got Johnny Walker and made him Mr. Wrestling too. And then Tim sees how over he is after a few months and calls me and said, I believe I will come back. So I had a natural.
It's great because you got 2 stars instead of 1.
Yeah, and I had a natural feud between the two.
Right. Whose idea was the empty arena match? And they actually did one in 2000, I think. Vince did it with Rock and Foley. And it was like one of the biggest ratings ever. They put it on during the halftime of the Super Bowl. And it got something like an 8-point-something rating. What are your thoughts on the empty arena match, and how come you don't think they do it more today?
Tell me, MT. What's that?
MTV.
Oh!
They had Rock and
Foley, yeah.
And it did a great rating. What are your thoughts on the empty arena match, and how come you don't think they do it anymore today?
What are my thoughts? It was a successful promotion. Why don't they do it today? I don't know. Either Vince price is too high, or MTV wants to go a different direction.
Well, I'm just saying they could put it on Raw. They could say this is what happened earlier today or something. Do you think if you were involved, would this be like a match you'd support?
Not necessarily. I mean,
What's the negatives of it and the positives?
Well, you're asking me about something that I didn't think at the time was that big a deal.
Right.
You know, we started music videos in the business.
Right.
We had the very first ones. And then, the different NWA promoters, Fritz had me send him a bunch of our videos, Vern Gagne, and Fritz did a heck of a job of coming up with his own. I don't know if you ever saw the Freebird, where the video of the Freebirds and the Bon Airs.
The music video?
Yeah,
the music video.
Yeah. So, the MTV thing, it's like Vince having Liberace at Raw. Vince is always going to be cutting edge in his promotion.
Right. Did Flair and Mulligan try to buy a territory just to be in opposition with you?
I didn't know they tried.
Okay. Is it true that at the time Lawler and Lance Russell thought about opening up a territory?
Yes.
Did you hear those rumors?
Yes.
You talked to them about it?
Yeah, I got to TV, and somebody came to me and said, "Oh no, Lance came and said, Jerry, this is my last week. Lawler and I are going to try to form a wrestling company." And so I went to Lawler, and I said, "What's the deal?" And he said, well, when I came into business with you, when the war started, you promised to give me 10%, and you never have. And I said, boy, you're right. And there's no way for me at this point in time to tell you. There's just an oversight.
Uh-huh.
I thought you were making plenty of money. But I said, all I can do is try to make it up to you. I said, I can tell you this, you and Lance together don't know how to run a wrestling company, so you'll fail. And once we sever the strings, it's severed. And so he changed his mind. When he changed his mind, of course, Lance changed his mind.
Did you ever give him back the 10%? Did they give him the 10%?
Oh, yeah, I did. Yeah.
So all was well then.
Yeah, yeah. And
that was converted, right?
That was my bad. I just, I'm sure that nobody that hears that, except for Jerry Lawler, knows that it's the truth, or would think it was the truth. If somebody told that to me, I forgot, I'd say bullshit.
Man.
But
It's
Lawler,
also his responsibility to ask you about it again too, though, isn't it?
Well, that's what I asked him. I said, why in the world didn't you come? He said, because I was making more money than I ever dreamed I'd make. And I said, well, me too.
So,
He said, no. He said, to tell you the truth, I didn't even think about it for a couple of years.
right.
I said, I didn't either.
You think the situation would be a lot different if you guys weren't making money at the time?
If we were not,
Yeah.
no, then I don't think he'd have made any issue. 100% of nothing is nothing.
Right. How did the whole Andy Kaufman deal come about?
Andy,
And just so on side too, was he also difficult to work with? How was he working with?
no, he's fabulous to work with. Andy tried to get Vince to do something with him, Byrne to do something with him, 2 or 3 other territories. And he finally found us, and he said, Jerry, I'd like to go to the matches and challenge any woman that's in the audience. I think I can beat them. And I said, Andy, I've watched you on Taxi. I can tell you that you will get your brains beat out. I said, there's some Amazon women that come to the matches in this territory. And he said, well, will you give me a chance? And of course, he's just fabulous. Great interviews. And knew enough amateur wrestling that he beat all the women. One night he came real close to getting dusted, but
Did you have a backup plan in case you lost or anything? Or?
yeah, goodbye, Andy.
Oh, wow, okay. Did he always try to stay in character when he was around you, or you sort of real Andy?
No, he's like Jimmy Valiant. When he went through the curtain, he was in character. When he came back through the curtain, he was back to being just
Andy?
Andy was kind of a shy, introverted person, just like Jimmy.
Right. How did you get all the guys on the Dave Letterman show?
How did what?
How did you guys get everybody on the Dave Letterman show? For that famous
Andy
show?
did.
Andy had all the pull for that.
Yeah. David got hot.
How accurate was? Did you see the movie Man on the Moon with Andy? And do you think it was accurate or?
Pretty much.
Yeah. Was Laurel's title run over Henning too late for the business? You thought, or no?
Was his what?
His title run over Henning. Lawler winning the AWA belt from Henning.
Oh yeah.
Do you think it was too late for the business and going to help save it?
Probably.
You talked about it earlier. How did the sale of World Class come about?
Kerry called me and said, Jerry, we're going to close the doors. We're broke. And Dad won't give us any more money. We owe a lot of bills. And I said, how much? He said, I don't know. But he said, we owe the television station and they're kicked us off. And I said, well, you don't have anything to sell, Kerry. And he said, well, will you come out here and look at it? He said, we've got a lot of tradition going for us. So I went out there and spent 2 or 3 days looking through the books and adding up all the bills. And I went to Channel 10 and said, is there any way I can salvage this relationship? I went to Max Andrews, their syndicator, and said, Max told me he's going to file bankruptcy himself.
Wow.
I said, is there any way we can salvage this deal? He told me, I forget how much money he needed, but the total deal to save him was about $150,000.
Wow.
And that seems like nothing today.
Yeah.
But we salvaged it and brought the sportatorium back.
Do you think Eric Embry was a good booker?
Great.
Great. It's back to Fritz. Did you regret the decision to buy Fritz's territory with $150,000 or not?
Did I what?
Did you regret the decision to buy Fritz's territory?
No.
It was for $150,000. You said you had a deal for $4 million you were going to do earlier.
That was for Vern Gagne.
Right, but I'm saying for $150,000 didn't seem like a lot of money for you maybe when you had the $4 million to buy another territory, right?
No, I mean I don't. Did you say did I?
Do you regret it now or?
No.
Right?
It was a great experience, and I made my investment back 10 times over in that year or so that we were there. I mean, and I also was able to start the monster truck racing that made us a lot of money out in Dallas.
You're all over the place. You're from Tennessee, and then you're in Georgia. You're in Texas. You're over here. Was it hard to travel back and forth? Even with you said you were a divorced father with Jeff at home. Was it tough traveling all over the place?
No, because I really, I did the deal in Atlanta in 72, 3, and 4. And Jeff didn't live with me then. When I did the deal in Texas, I'd carry Jeff and he'd wrestle with me. I mean, he'd wrestle with the company there. When I went to New York, Jeff went, he went with me at the same time.
Is it tough just being away from your home base, though, and your house and everything?
Oh, yeah.
It wears on you think? Or?
Well, over time, yeah. That's how you suffer the burnout.
Right. Do you think Fritz was ever bitter over the sale, or he was just happy for you?
No, I think he was glad.
Just out of his hands, I would say. We talked about it. I guess let's ask about it. How did you wind up actually working for Vince McMahon?
Vince, all the big steroid scandal happened.
So this is going to the early 90s around. It was the early 90s steroid scandal? A couple of them.
Watch thousands of exclusive shoot interviews right now on TitleMatchNetwork.com.